if you're not used to approaching hot girls when you see them out in public, then as a man, your tendency, like every other man out there in the world, is very likely to be that when you see a hot girl, you notice her and then you look away, right? Out of nerves, out of embarrassment. Maybe you don't want to be a creep, right? You have this narrative in your head, this sort of belief in your head that if you stare, that it's creepy. And so you look away. I want to give you one of like the core pieces of advice that I'm learning in my own journey of actually approaching and complimenting and interacting and flirting with and, getting dates with hot girls, right? In the first 2 weeks since actually committing to the practice, which is when you see a really hot girl, or even just a girl that you're attracted to out in the wild, out in public, don't look away. Hold your eye contact. There's so many really, really important psychological reasons for this. When you hold your eye contact and you don't look away, not only does it actually convey confidence and dominance, not like performative macho dominance, but actual masculine dominance and confidence as a man. Not only does that convey that to her, right, which is an attractive quality, but it's so important for yourself, because when you hold your gaze on her instead of looking away, it's really hard to do, right? I know that this is not easy if you've not done it before, but it actually signals to your nervous system that you are not afraid of your own feelings of attraction. You're not intimidated by her beauty. Try it, right? The next time that you see a hot girl out in the wild, don't look away. Really look at her. There's so many reasons to do this, and I'm going to share as many as I can in this video. I've shared the first reason, which is that it signals to your nervous system, right, that you are not afraid of her beauty and you're not afraid of your own attraction. And it's amazing when you hold your gaze, it takes her off the pedestal, or at least it significantly contributes to taking her off the pedestal. Right? Because if you see a girl that you're attracted to and then you avert your eyes and you sort of steal glances, you're energetically putting yourself below her, right? You're putting her above you. She's this sort of strange, mysterious creature, and you feel like you're stealing glances. And so you're going to feel like you're kind of imposing. Even just your eye contact is imposing. There's something that really interesting that happens when you actually hold your gaze. Right? I think a lot of the reason that men don't want to do this is because they don't want to seem like they're creepy, like for staring. But the second part of this, right, the reason that this is so important, I've found in just like the first 2 weeks of actually committing to tackling my approach anxiety by actually approaching girls that I'm attracted to in public. When you hold your gaze, sorry, when you hold your gaze, if you find yourself looking at a girl, right, for, I don't know, 5 seconds, and you haven't actually looked away, you've seen her and you've forced your brain to, you stay looking at her, right? Because you notice in that first moment that you've just seen an attractive girl, right? So instead of looking away, hold your gaze on her and really look at her, really look at who she is, like whatever it is, look at the clothes she's wearing, look at the shape of her body, be attracted to her. Don't shy away from your own feelings of attraction as a man, right? And what's going to happen is if you actually look at her, if you look at her without looking away, you're going to see that she's a person. One of the things that happens when men notice an attractive girl and then look away, as I said before, is that it puts this girl on a pedestal. It makes her unreachable. It lowers our own sort of sense of worth or value. She becomes this mysterious beauty symbol or, sexual object. And that's what's creepy, right? But if you actually hold your gaze, for 5 seconds and you really allow yourself to look, right, without being ashamed of it, the next most natural thing that you would do is approach, right? If you find somebody so attractive, right, that you are holding your gaze because you're refusing to look away, well, the next most natural thing that you would do in that situation is go up and talk to her without looking away, right? And so just force your legs to move. It's holding your gaze is a really useful technique, because if you avert your eye contact, that's the moment that you fail the initial approach, right? That's the moment where you actually start succumbing to approach anxiety, right? It happens really quickly when you see a girl that you're attracted to out in public, out in the wild. I mean, you never know who's going to be around the corner. But the moment that you notice an attractive girl, you feel it's like, whoa, she has whatever, she's pretty, she's cute. You're attracted to her. It happens instantaneously. And so don't look away. Stay looking at her and really look her up and down, like really look who she is, hold your gaze. And then you will naturally want to actually say something. Right? Because if you break eye contact, you've abandoned yourself. You're essentially lying to yourself. Right? You're saying that, okay, she's attractive, but I'm not whatever. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm a creep. It's not appropriate. She's whatever. She's with her friends. She's working. Pick a reason. There's so many infinite reasons that you'll find to not actually approach. One really, really epic technique, I promise you, is to hold your gaze. And the reason, it's hard. The reason it's epic is just like all of the other techniques, like when I talk about forcing your legs to move before you're ready. That's another technique, which I'll do a different video about. But it's much the same principle. When you actually force your legs to move, or when you actually hold your gaze, you're conveying to your own subconscious mind that you are worth her, right? That you are an attractive man, that she's not on a pedestal, right? That you are not afraid of beauty, you are not intimidated by her. You might be, right? But like cognitive behavioral therapy principles, if you actually change your behavior, it has a really potent effect on your mind, right? Which is why forcing your legs to move, holding your gaze, these are two really, really potent techniques to actually showing your body, showing your nervous system that you are the man that you want to be. I guarantee you, like it will feel really strange at first, because, your mind is going to fill up with fucking ideas that you're a creep for staring, right? So if you find yourself holding your gaze for an extra couple of seconds longer, that's great. And if you can't do anything because the approach anxiety is just too bad, too much, then just note that down as, as a rep. I held my gaze for 2 seconds longer than I normally do. Right? But hold your gaze, and then if you're scared that you're being a creep, well then fucking walk up to her. Right? That's not creepy. It's not creepy to do that. And just be normal about it. Just be cool about it. Like, it's normal to be attracted to people as a human being. Nobody in this world is going to think that that's... we're all attracted to people. Our ancestors wouldn't have survived thousands of fucking generations for us to be here by being afraid of their own attraction, by thinking, or not even by being afraid of it, but by thinking that their feelings of attraction for one another makes them creepy or not appropriate, right? And then you do approach her and you express your truth. That's why I call it truth approaching, not cold approaching. I prefer to call it truth approaching, because cold, it has this feeling of like cold, as though we're strangers. When you actually start talking to people, you realize that, well, we're not really strangers. You're just a person, right? When you actually express your truth, you even say, when you go up there and you say, hey, I just saw you and I didn't want to look away because I find you really attractive. I know that's a random thing to say to a stranger, but I thought I'd come and say hello because I didn't just want to stare and be creepy. Like, that's totally fine. Imagine, like, how do you think any woman worth, her weight in salt or whatever is going to experience that? She'll be flattered. She'll probably blush. So she'll definitely say thank you, right? Because that is a genuine, heartfelt compliment that she probably never gets from, men that actually approach, because you're not actually wanting anything from her. You're just approaching her and you're complimenting her. Guys that have approach anxiety are not creeps. Guys that have approach anxiety, like, if you're so worried about being a creep, then you're probably not a fucking creep, man. You're going to go out of your way to not be a creep, right? But it can be taken so far that if you actually stop. Sorry, I got distracted by a hot girl just then. If you avert your eyes because you're scared of being creepy, but you keep stealing glances, well, that's kind of creepy, because then think about it from her perspective. Then there's some guy that keeps like glancing at her and he won't actually say anything. And she's wondering, why does that guy keep fucking looking at me? Right? And you can resolve this whole thing by just going and resolving it, expressing whatever is happening for you. It's that simple. Human beings, we're so relatable. If you go up to a girl and you name exactly what just happened for you. You say, hey, I was just walking or whatever, like I was just shopping, doing my groceries, and I just saw you and you caught my attention, and I know this is random. Like for me, I quite often find that it helps me to say to her, like, I know this is random, because it kind of names the context, right? I just noticed you and I know this is random, but like, you're so gorgeous. I actually couldn't look away, and I didn't want to, sort of pretend like I didn't notice you and sort of keep stealing glances. So I just thought I'd come and say hi. I don't know. Like, by the time you get halfway through that sentence, you're going to feel super relaxed because you're actually being true to yourself. She hears that and she understands your reality completely. So you're not creepy. You're not hiding anything, right? So hold your gaze. It's a really, really useful technique when you're first starting to actually cold approach women, truth approach women, as I call it. If you're not quite at the stage yet where you're ready to actually start walking up to girls, if you're still so scared, of attractive girls that, you actually just can't walk up to them, we'll just start by looking at them and not looking away. Just even do it for an extra second or two, right? And just get used to that. The last video I did was about progressive desensitization. Just get used to looking for an extra second, and do that half a dozen times, right? And then you'll find after half a dozen times of doing that your nervous system is actually used to looking at girls instead of looking away. You're going to feel so much more confident as a person when you don't avert your eyes. When you avert your eyes after seeing a hot girl, you're telling yourself, you're telling your subconscious that you are not worthy, that you are not attractive, that you are not confident, because that's how you're behaving. So stop it, right? Hold your gaze. How many fucking times have I said that in this video? Just try it. And comment comment on this video, right, your progress with it.